Tim with smallscalerc.com, and I'm giving you an update on the Axial Yeti Jr. Rock Racer. I've had this machine out both indoors and outside. I've been running it quite a bit. The weather's been awesome for getting outside with an RC vehicle, and with all the vehicles in my collection, I've been choosing this one to run with because I want to get more familiar with it and familiarize myself with it a little bit more. And it's been my go-to vehicle. It's a really just enjoyable machine to get out and just bash around with and have a good time with. So I wanted to give you an update on some things that I've noticed through my driving of this machine. Starting with the vehicle itself, and then we'll get to the controller. The vehicle itself has been stellar. It handles great. It is quite quick for the gearing and the 40-turn motor that's included in it. The nickel metal battery, it gives plenty of power. It could be faster. I'm not going to lie. I'm actually toying with the idea of putting a brushless system into it at some point in time after seeing a few other folks. James Tabor, for example, has put a brushless system in his, and that machine really rips around. He's got the Score trophy truck model of the Yeti Jr. But I've been really impressed with how the handle and the performance of the machine has been with that brushless system. But for now, I'm sticking with the brushed motor. All stock configuration yet, and it handles great. It's got plenty of performance, plenty of zip. There isn't much that this thing can't drive through. I've had it through snow. I've had it through leaves and some backyard debris. It's been through some dirt. You can see some dirt on the wheels. It's a fun little machine to grab, pop a battery in it, and go and have a good time. Now, with all that said, there are one or two things that I'm not the biggest fan of when it comes to the vehicle itself. And primarily, that would be the steering servo. The steering servo, to me, feels underpowered, a little weak. There were some situations where I had been driving in snow, and there was snow packed all throughout this whole steering assembly, and I could not get the wheels to turn one bit. And it was frustrating having to knock it out and clean it out quite a bit to get it moving again. But just even this past weekend, we didn't have any snow. It was beautiful weather out, and I still ran into some issues with the steering. It just seems slow and sluggish to center itself, and it could be more responsive. So with that, I've been doing some research into what other steering servo options there are for this model, and I've actually got a Savox servo on its way, and it will be installed hopefully later in the week, and we'll get video for that in that entire process. I've seen two individuals do a servo swap to the Yeti Jr. Rock Racer, specifically this model. So I'm going to go through and follow their steps to disassemble the chassis to get to the components and get things freed up. From everything that I've read, that Savox servo should do wonders. I powered it up just to give you an example of what I'm talking about for the stock steering. So we're going to turn it. I mean, it's snappy when you go direction to direction, but it's the centering. You have to do a lot of manual control of this vehicle to get it back to straight and true, which isn't bad. But again, you don't want to have to think too much when you're driving these machines. It shouldn't be a thinking man's game necessarily. As I said, that Savox servo is on its way, and we'll get that installed in due time as soon as it shows up. Outside of that, performance-wise, I've had a few instances where I wish the differential was locked. Not a huge deal breaker necessarily. It kills momentum when you're up on two wheels and everything just stops moving. So in a nutshell, that's my experience with the vehicle. I love it. It's a great machine to go out and have a good time with. It's quick, it's fast, could be faster, but out of the box, it's an impressive handling machine, and I can't wait to see what that servo change is going to do. Now, moving the vehicle off to the side for a second, the other thing I wanted to address is the controller. Now, this is the Tactic TTX 200 controller that comes with the Axial Yeti Jr Rock Racer. It also comes with the Score trophy truck. We'll zoom in on this in just a moment there to give you a little bit better look at the controller. You know, it's a decent controller. I'm not going to, say that it doesn't have features that I wish it had. I just wish it felt better. This, I've become a controller snob, as I've said in previous videos, and this just doesn't have the feel that I'm going for. The grip feels a little bit too big. Even some of the ergonomic curves on the handle, they don't seem like they're placed in the right spots for some reason. I don't like. I'm not in love with the grip. It's passable. It works. I may at some point in time, make some updates to this machine and go with a different receiver so I could use a different remote. We'll see. But for now, I'm going to stick with the stock setup. That said, I'm not a huge fan of this controller, just with how it feels. But it's passable and it does what it needs to do. And I haven't let it get in the way of my enjoyment of this machine. One cool thing that I noted, and I'm going to share a little tip here. If you are looking to get some action footage from this machine and you own a Polaroid Cube action camera, I discovered that this camera fits perfectly in the cockpit area without any kind of modification. And it gives a really cool first-person view video shot of whatever you may be driving at or jumping over or whatever. I've had some really cool video that I've taken with this camera installed just like this. I have not strapped it in. I have not done anything else to mount it or to secure it. And the camera stayed in. I've rolled this machine, flipped it, cartwheeled it, tumbled it, you named it, jumped it, and the camera stayed put. It's just beautiful. Nice snug fit. You can position it a little bit, somewhat to the right or left if you want a more centered view. But perfect little camera for getting some really cool action shots out of this 1/18th scale machine. So that's my little pro tip for the day. If you've got a Polaroid Cube, or if you want to pick up a little, inexpensive action camera, take a look. I'm sure you could find one on Amazon, eBay, you name it. The Polaroid Cube, definitely a fun little camera for this machine. So that's my overview, I guess, midterm update of the Axial Yeti Rock Racer. We will have more on this machine as I upgrade the servo. We'll get more running video. We've had the weather actually become nice this past weekend. Like I said, I was out with it a little bit. I had my cheap indoor specific foam ramps outside just to give myself a little something to launch this off of since my snow had disappeared. And it performs just as well outdoors on those ramps as it does indoors, if anything a little bit more, because I could really get the speed up and carry some good speed onto those ramps and over them. So we'll have more on this vehicle in the coming weeks, and I do thank you for checking this video out. If you like what you saw out of today's video, I do encourage you to give it a thumbs up. If you're not yet subscribed to the RCNewb / small scale RC YouTube channel, please do go ahead and do that. I appreciate it. I'm trying to follow back as many people as I can. I'm very appreciative of all the new follows and all the comments on the existing videos that I've done. Want to do a lot more around this vehicle. It's a fun machine. I'm really happy I picked it up, and I hope that we see more like this machine from Axial and from other RC manufacturers as well. So again, Axial Yeti Rock Racer midterm update. I'm a fan. Stay tuned to this channel for more videos, and until next time, guys, we'll talk to you later.